Remember this? Hawken launched back in 2012 as a PvP mech shooter. The action was fast-paced, with multiple classes of mechs, interesting weapons, and a focus on combat and customization. Fast forward to 2023 and we have Hawken Reborn, which just launched into early access from 505 Games. Hi folks, I'm Dimebot, and it's time to take a deeper look at Hawken Reborn. And one thing this is most emphatically not is OG Hawken. Let me state that I don't think this is a bad thing. The new game is a PvE affair right now, and that was always something I thought might be interesting to explore in the Hawken universe. What is a bad idea is the execution of this game. I'll add in the usual caveat that this is an early access game and lots of things are subject to change. However, if you release a game and ask for real money to either buy access to the game or via microtransactions in an in-game store, then you open yourself up for critique of said game. And Hawken Reborn is, well, it's kind of a mess. Shoddy AI, lackluster graphics, an options menu that would be embarrassing for a mobile game, gameplay and mission design that feels rote, half-baked, unengaging, and totally underwhelming. And I haven't even gotten to the multiple currencies and the microtransactions yet. Now, after a short introductory cutscene, Hawken Reborn gives you a short series of missions, half a dozen or so, to play through out of the gate. Once you reach a certain point, you can also engage in patrols to gather resources and parts. There are factions on the planet that you crash land on, and they want you to go shoot things for them. Or occasionally stop and hack a thing by holding F on it for a bit. The issue with these missions isn't that they are things we've seen before in other shooters. It's that they feel shoehorned into a franchise that's all about giant mechs shooting each other. Why am I stopping in my towering war machine to hack a terminal that comes up to my mech's ankles? Is it just to spawn a wave of enemies for me to shoot at? Apparently, in the Hawken universe, the answer to that is yes. And speaking of enemies, some of the choices here don't make any sense thematically. While you will fight other mechs, as you might imagine, a large portion of enemies will be foot soldiers. Guys, on foot, with machine guns, sniper rifles, etc. What a guy with a machine gun is going to accomplish against a mech, I have no idea. At least in terms of it making sense in the game world. What it does accomplish is to wear down your shields and armor as they come at you from all sides. And that does make sense in another context, which we will get to shortly. While the mechs control just fine and are speedy and snappy like the old Hawken, the shooting itself just doesn't feel good. It's floaty, your machine guns that are ostensibly the size of a small car seem to have almost no recoil and no impact. It's almost like everything is a pea shooter plinking away, despite some decent sound work that makes them sound more thunderous than they actually feel. And enemy mechs are, well, they're dumb. Really dumb. They get stuck in corners, they jump jet up and out of cover for you to shoot at like a targeted a skeet shoot, they rub up against walls, they don't react when you circle behind them and unload both guns into their backsides. It's just not good. Now, while I'm not going to do a deep dive into graphics here, largely because the settings menu is a complete and utter joke, the game looks passable. It's an Unreal Engine 4 game and it looks the part. And that's the best I can say for it. The testing performance is not really a thing I can do here since there's not a lot of options and the game seems to be capped to 60 FPS from everything I can determine. It ran reasonably well on a 3090, but that's the best I can say here. And for those of you wondering about the controls, all I can say is that I hope you like what the devs chose because you aren't rebinding anything in these menus. It's functional, but not being able to customize key bindings feels like a pretty lazy decision. With all that out of the way, let's move on to the elephant in the room, the microtransactions. The original Hawken was, of course, no stranger to in-game purchases. I did love my ramen cop decoration that sat on my mech's dashboard. Hawken Reborn is not that. There are two currencies, scrip and credits. Credits are what you use to repair your mech. They're also used to assemble new parts and weapons for your mech. If you don't have enough of material for, say, those sick new thrusters that you want to put on, that's where scrip comes in. You can use scrip to top up on the parts and materials that you haven't scavenged from the battlefield yet. But scrip is also used to outright buy new guns or mechs. If that's not already icky enough by simply cutting out the progression loop and letting you pay to bypass that part of the game mechanics, buying one small script pack will net you 1,100 script. But as you can see here on screen, the mech you can buy with script costs 1,179. Yeah, that's right. This game embraces the tried and true tradition of one currency purchase won't get you the thing you want, so you have to buy more and have extra left over. I personally hate this model. It's predatory and dishonest, and I had hoped developers would start moving away from it. But not Hawken Reborn, it seems. This is doubly true when you start to consider that should you need credits to repair your mech and happen to be out, you can buy them with scrip. Having a digital currency that is basically needed to keep playing the game if you screw up and damage your mechs too much is obnoxious. Now, perhaps I'm reading the situation wrong, but at surface level, it certainly seems like the devs saying, don't worry, if you blow up all your mechs, you can just pay us real money and you'll be back in action. It just feels gross. And honestly, that's about how I feel about Hawken Reborn. It looks kind of like Hawken, it feels kind of like Hawken, but in reality, with the kind of jank presentation, the UE4 graphics that just barely surpass the OG 2012 game, floaty, bad-feeling shooting, and the grubby microtransactions coupled with barely enough content to justify a closed beta, let alone an early access launch, it just left me feeling kind of gross about this whole game. So I'm going to go take a shower and hope I can feel clean again after playing Hawken Reborn. And in the meantime, unless you really love mechs and are itching for a new free-to-play experience to fill your afternoon, stay away from Hawken Reborn. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, it really helps the channel out. My name's Dimebot, and I'll see you guys next time.